Crossovers are awesome and stupid, like me, minus the awesome part. It's just a lot of fun to see X and Y team up. You know what's even better though? A random appearance of a character in something that isn't even a crossover. A guest character, if you will. And I hope you will, because that's kind of the entire premise of this video. Some guest appearances or cameos make sense, others just come out of absolutely nowhere, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. So, rule-wise, it's quite simple. One professional like normal, but also these are guest appearances, not crossovers, so you won't be seeing, say, Kingdom Hearts or Mario and Rabbids here. However, if there's a guest in a crossover, they are eligible. That's confusing. Here's an example. Smash Bros. Is a crossover between Nintendo characters, but they still have guest characters. So while Rob, Chrono Pack, and Wii Fit Trainer are not eligible for this list, Sonic, Cloud, and Pac-Man are. Also, it needs to be an official crossover. No parodies, both companies need to sign off on it. That's all I need to say. Let's get into this. Your Honor, Mario will never be ballin'. Well, I don't know what Nintendo employee was watching Kazam one day and said, okay, yeah, this is cool, this is great, let's have Mario dunk on him. But whoever that man is, give him a raise. NBA Street V3 was a multi-platform game, but only GameCube got exclusive characters. And I can see why. Because seeing Mario, Luigi, and Peach next to all those real people just is wrong. Feels like a mod, but nope, it's real. They don't even try to make it seem like they're in the same universe. The Mario characters are in a different art style than the others. The only reason it says higher is because, in general, seeing Mario and the crew in a sports game isn't too out of the ordinary. But this was the first time they played basketball, at least 1 year before Mario Hoops 3 and 3. Now, I'm not saying this random game where you can have Peach dunk on LeBron James gave birth to the Mario basketball series, but I'm not saying that either. Brawlhalla is basically the dumping ground for crossovers. Basically everything has been thrown into this game. It's like an official Mudgeon. You've got everything. From Rayman to Adventure Time to Shovel Knight to Steven Universe to Tomb Raider to Kung Fu Panda to things I legally can't say because I don't swear. But out of all of these, weirdest has to be WWE. There's 8 characters in total. The Rock, John Cena, Xavier Woods, Becky Lynn, Asuka, Roman Reigns, The Undertaker, and
Bonesaw is ready!
The concept of Brawlhalla is basically a bunch of gods come to fight each other one day. So seeing powerful characters like Rayman, Shovel Knight, and Ben 10 makes sense. But then you just have these guys who are above average at punching. Yeah, they can probably be Thor. I mean, you can't hear what you can't see. The John Cena could probably win here. Undertaker's already dead. The Rock played a god once. Macho Man is a god. You know, maybe this isn't as weird as I thought. They shouldn't be on this list. And Roman's sword just turned into a hand. Yeah, they can stay here. When you think of Tekken characters, you usually think of martial arts. That's what most of the cast is made of. Jin, Heihachi, Asuka, King. Yeah, there's some exceptions, but most of these guys are like gods or demons, not just normal dudes. So when trying to think of someone to appear as a guest, martial artists make the most sense. Kuma from Street Fighter is an obvious pick, as Geese Howard. Even Gon makes sense, since most people didn't even know that he was like not an original character. Then there's Negan. Why is Negan here? Listen, there was a time where Walking Dead was literally everywhere. So I can see why you'd include him and maybe boost interest in people who haven't heard of Tekken. By the time Negan was included, the show was basically on its last leg. The show pretty much became The Walking Dead. The reason why a Walking Dead character was chosen was simply because the game's creators liked the show, which, like, fine. But sometimes you gotta throw away your fanfiction and focus on world building. Like Eddie Freddie Mercury with a baseball bat does not work well in a world filled of aliens and demons, but you know, hey, I'm sure if I had a super popular fighting game franchise, I'd see it as a perfect opportunity to include a character from my favorite show as well. Get ready for me to make a fighting game featuring Larry the Lobster in 2038, motherfuckers. I'll be super hype. What was your first experience with a weird guest character in a video game? Mine was from Kirby, because of course it was. Back in the day, Nintendo was super cool with letting all their characters mingle in with each other, but nowadays it's pretty much exclusively saved for Smash Bros. Usually these are minor, Mario enemies in Zelda, Link and Samus hidden away in Mario RPG, Mario, Link, and Yoshi appear in Donkey Kong 2, but again, these are all minor cameos. Samus' appearance in Kirby Dream Land 3 is actually pretty important. She gives you a mission where you need to kill a bunch of Metroids, because Samus is just super lazy apparently, and she just gives her work whatever pink marshmallow happens to wander in her view. Samus appearing here does raise a lot of questions though. Did she know Kirby before this? Where does this take place in the timeline? Why is Samus worried about the Metroids when this thing is in the exact same game? Also, why is this an EVA game? I had nightmares from this. And finally, if Samus is canonically 6'3", why does she appear next to Kirby, who's only 8 inches? Well, actually, a super cool cool person who totally isn't me made a really great video that you maybe should check out. Also, did you know this character's name is Plug? It just seemed relevant for some reason. Kratos, the god of war, the son of Sparta, the slayer of gods, the cursed mortal, the white warrior, the son of Zeus, and most importantly, the god of golf. Wait, what? Yeah, I'm not sure who looked at Kratos ripping a head off of a naked snake woman and thought, wow dude, I wonder how good his swing is. I'd love to study you. Kratos has got to be one of the most brutal characters of all time, even after he chilled out in the sequel series. So maybe him taking some time off and hitting up the greens is warranted, but like, why? I know the game is called Everybody's Hot Shot Golf, but did everyone really have to include the guy who has a kill count larger than the amount of times they make cringy jokes? Kratos isn't the type of guy to golf, that's what I'm trying to say. Mario Maker had a lot of genius ideas, but I feel like most of us can agree that its best one was a mystery mushroom. Being able to turn yourself into a different character, even if it doesn't change the gameplay, really does a lot to make you feel like the character. And in a game where you can make any level you want, that helps a lot with making themed levels. The costumes available are most of what you expect. Mario characters like Goomba or Waluigi, every character that had an amiibo at the time, some slightly weirder obscure picks like Master Belch or the Week of Dawn's board. Then they started adding non-game characters. Some were kind of understandable, like the manga version of Mario or Neki, who's the mascot of a Japanese magazine. Then it gets weirder, like Japanese band Baby Metal, who did appear in a Smash Bros. Ad, so isn't that all that unexpected? I guess. There's also Hello Kitty. Weird that she's here because she's not a game character, but I mean, at least she's Japanese, I guess. It'd be really weird if they included a non-game, non-Japanese character. So they added a non-game, non-Japanese character. So remember Shaun the Sheep? It's a stop-motion cartoon by the same people who did Wallace and Gromit. It's a fun series to be sure, but like, why is he in Mario Maker? The thing that really gets me is that Artman has nothing to do with Nintendo. Nintendo really works with Western companies. That's why out of the over 80 characters we have in Smash, only 5 are from non-Japanese companies. And I mean, has Nintendo ever done anything with Artman? My guess was that this was supposed to be an advertisement for the 2015 movie, but his costume first appeared in 2016, so I don't know. What I'm trying to say is Sean totally has a chance for Smash Bros, guys. He's basically a lock. Almost every time a real person appears in a game, it just feels off. I could have filled this list with real life people appearing in games, but that would make this list super repetitive, so I'm just going to pick the weirdest of them all. And as strange as Fred Durst appearing in Fight Club or Michael Jackson appearing in Space Channel 5 is, I found one far stranger. Remember when Ariana Grande appeared in Final Fantasy? Final Fantasy is a game all about super powerful people fighting gods and ancient monsters, all in this strange fantasy environment. So clearly, a modern-day mediocre pop singer fits perfectly next to a god clown and a poison-spitting tentacle monster. Ariana appears in the mobile game Brave Exodus as a special event character, with 4 different variations available. This game isn't any stranger to guest characters, there's a buttload, but most make sense. They're from other Square games like Kingdom Hearts or Dragon Quest, which are already connected to Final Fantasy, and the non-Square series still makes sense in the world of Final Fantasy like Monster Hunter or Fullmetal Alchemist. Then there's Ariana Grande. Why is she here? I thought it was kind of like Negan appearing in Tekken and the creators just liked her music. Or maybe it was reversed. Maybe Ariana is a huge Final Fantasy fan. But as far as I could find, nothing really connects the two. It just kind of happened. What I'm trying to say is Ariana totally has a chance for the next Kingdom Hearts game, guys. She's basically locked. Oh boy. I have never been more excited for an entry on my videos before. Because this character, isn't a character. This is just someone. This isn't just something. This is somebody. The Tony Hawk games have some pretty strange guest characters, like Spider-Man, Doom Guy, and Darth Maul. But come on, how could I not go with Shrek here? In hindsight, it does kind of make sense the Funny Green Man made it in. Activision made Pro Skater 2 and Shrek tie-in games, so why not include him? Well, easy answer. The Shrek shredding board is kind of terrifying. He uses his own earwax as a lubricant for his skateboard. Instead of using spray paint or whatever, he just straight up burps his emblem to show his supremacy. On one hand, ew. On the other hand, 2 and 3, take notes. If you're wondering, no, Shrek does not appear in the remake that released recently, and I don't really know why. The Marvel and Star Wars creators I get since Disney owns them now, but DreamWorks will really do anything for any amount of money. Why do you think we're getting a sequel to The Boss Baby? Do I even need to say anything more? It's Shrek skateboarding. I don't need to Shrek explain anything to you fart quads, so I don't need to swamp you with information. Puss in Boots, that's all I got. Number 2, shouldn't this be number 1? You see the joke is that 1 is half of 2, and Thanos he things into two, and it's Thanos in Fortnite. I said before that Brawlhalla was a dumping ground for crossovers, but I take it back. Clearly Fortnite deserves that title. Like, I get it. Fortnite is the cool new thing, everyone wants to capitalize on its possibility, but like, did everyone need to capitalize on its popularity? Marvel, DC, Star Wars, John Wick, Borderlands, Stranger Things, Rick and Morty, freaking Travis Scott. This game that most people only see as a cringy fad is the closest we've gotten to an official Marvel and DC crossover in over 2 decades. And I don't know how to feel about that. But we can thank, I guess that's the right word, a certain bald-chin genocidal maniac for starting this all. Even 3 years after this event, and Fortnite having so many crossovers, Thanos' appearance will always baffle me. The fun thing with crossovers is trying to imagine the conversation the two companies had while trying to make this to happen. And God, I would love to be the fly on the wall between the Marvel and the Epic employee trying to make this thing real. In my mind, I like to imagine that Epic decided they had to do this because they realized that Fortnite and Thanos were going to be the 2 biggest memes of 2018. So they decided to save the industry some trouble and animate Thanos doing all the dances themselves. Oh yeah, how could I forget? Thanos dabbing, flossing, and doing the default dance. I hope I never have to talk about Fortnite again. At least until we suddenly have nostalgia for it and love it again like we do with Minecraft, FNAF, and Roblox. Which has already happened apparently. This is why you should never delay a video by a year. Oh god, I have so many honorable mentions. Where do I even start? Danica Patrick in Sonic All-Stars Racing. Because when I think of Sega All-Stars, I think of a NASCAR racer I've never heard of. Link in Mario Kart 8. Okay, Link making an appearance in Mario Kart 8 isn't too weird. I have no problems with the Inklings or Animal Crossing or Rob, but like, he clashes so hard with the rest of the game. His semi-more realistic design just does not fit into a giant caterpillar car, I am sorry. Chun-Li in Breath of Fire. By answering a certain set of questions correctly, you randomly get to see Chun-Li appear. I don't get it. Star Wars characters in Soul Calibur. Star Wars tech clashes hard with the fantasy aspect of Soul Calibur, but I guess Star Wars is kind of fantasy as well, so frickin'. Shovel Knight in Ukulele. He does nothing in this game. Why is he here? Heihachi in Tekken no Tenshin. Heihachi appearing in this game isn't that weird. It is a Namco game and they throw in basically everything. But like, why is only half his body shown? And why doesn't he have the same art style as the rest of the game? Steve in Smash Ultimate. Like, we all knew Steve was going to be playable eventually, but I still can't believe that eventually is now. And also, it literally broke the internet. Twitter just straight up stopped working after he was announced. Braum, Lucina, and Metalface in Predator Cross Zone 2. You know what makes perfect sense in a crossover between Sega, Namco, and Capcom? Nintendo characters. Shin Megami Tensei 3 featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Honestly, Dante's a perfect fit for SMT. It's just the weird marketing that made his appearance so infamous. Demogorgon appearing in Dead by Daylight. We have all these famous movie slashers, and then a TV monster who mainly attacks by mind powers. One thing is not like the other. Finally, Simon Belmont in Evolution Skateboarding. If long dead vampire killer shredding isn't weird enough, despite clearly being Simon Belmont, he's only called a vampire killer. I don't get it. Anyways, number 1. Sega's Revenge of Shinobi is full of lawyer-friendly references to other media. There's this guy who's clearly Rambo, one of the bosses is Godzilla, this dude is literally just Arnold Schwarzenegger, he even turns into the Terminator. But of all these weird references, the strangest has got to be this one. One of the bosses in this game is Spider-Man, who after taking enough damage, turns into Batman. Okay, I know you're probably screaming at your screen right now. Hey Shrek, you idiot, you just said that this list was specifically like official crossovers, not parodies. There's obviously no way that Marvel and DC would ever sign off on this. And you're correct. DC never allowed Sega to use Batman here. Marvel, on the other hand, well, that's an interesting story. Sega had the game rights to Marvel at the time, and Marvel even appears in the game credits. So, yes, this is actually, canonically, Spider-Man, appearing in this game as a villain who turns into Batman. I know this is the second Marvel character in a row, but come on, how could this not be number 1? Marvel has officially signed off on a game where their poster boy is evil and turns into the poster boy of their biggest rival. How can you not love this? The best part is that this game got released 4 times, with the boss fight being changed every single time. The second version has Spider-Man resemble his counterpart more, and he doesn't even transform in this one. He instead leaves the screen and a devil monster comes in, replacing Batman because they didn't have the rights to him. Same with the third version of the game, but in the fourth version, Sega finally lost the rights to Spider-Man, so they changed the boss to a pink color. But despite all the changes, for the majority of the versions, Marvel actually signed off to having their biggest hero be a shape-shifting villain who turned into their rival. I can't think of a weirder guest character than this. I can't wait to see the Spider-Man in Spider-Verse 2. And there we go. There's my top 10. If you know any other weird guest appearances, leave it in the comments. And just before I leave, just remember this one thing. Remember that thanks to Tony Hawk, we live in a universe where both Shrek and Doom Guy are canonically in the same universe. We live in the right timeline.
My mother